Pretty cool time to be in soccer, isn't it, in Seattle?
It's always a cool time to be in soccer. But in Seattle in particular,
Yeah.
always. Only place in the country, it's always cool, to be honest. But yeah, it's fun. Were you there yesterday?
No. I had a big party to host.
Yeah.
So you said it was about the journey to the tournament. Tell me the journey that has gotten you in here.
Well, I'll let these two talk, but I will just say for myself is for the University of Washington, we were out for too long. The expectations of this program are that we're a tournament team every year. We had some rebuilding to do. We were young for the last couple of years, which is never an excuse. Injuries played a little bit of a part in that, to be honest. But we still fell below our expectations. I think even with adversity, which most teams face every year, that we should always be in contention for the NCAA tournament. So now that the University of Washington's back in, the expectation is that they're in every year. I'm just going to leave it with that.
How do you feel about taking on the neighbor in the first round?
Yeah, it's fine. It'll bring a lot of excitement to the city again. Julie's done a great job, as they always do, with their team, especially in conference, and we had expectations in scheduling them every year that they're going to do a great job in trying to win the WAC and be an important game for us on our schedule, which is great. And so, don't have to go anywhere, either of us, and we're just going to, Derby times two. We're up for it.
What do you remember about the first match and what they can do and the challenges?
Was it the second game of the year?
Portland first,
Yeah. I think, and again, I'll let Taylor and Summer speak to it a little bit. What I remember of it is that it was the usual, tight game. And we typically have on the books come out on the upper hand, on the better end of it with results. It was one of those games we were disappointed in the draw. But it's tournament time now. That all goes bye-bye. Anything that's happened in the past, it doesn't matter. The game on the day is what's going to matter. And Julie's team is flying high after running their conference table just about and winning their conference tournament. And we're excited after beating the Cougs. And the big thing for us is just to 100% not take this game for granted because we're a seed and we've just made it through Pac-12s as a third-place team. We have to play the game on the day against a team that's going to be fired up to come over here and play us. So we have to keep our minds on that.
Conference is tough enough. You don't need a postseason tournament, do you?
No. We just got 9 teams in.
Yeah.
You go and poll the coaches in our conference right now and ask them which coaches would want to turn around and play 3 games again. Nobody. Yeah, I've always said that. Even when we were a bottom half team, even the years I said top, bottom, whatever, I think you make it through these 11 games, you'll be ready for the tournament, and physically you're not going to want to turn around for an AQ that's kind of, I think, not as meaningful as what you accomplish in the regular season. So, no, I've never been a proponent. But there have been some coaches in the room that have fought hard for it, but I have not been one of them. Yeah.
Playing the Cougs in the last regular season match, that kind of gets you ready for it. It felt like a tournament game to you already?
I think we talked about this weeks ago. When we started to be in contention and we'd won those first few games and we were collecting points on the road and winning at home, and we got the game against Oregon, and then when we went, we just wanted to get points in Northern California when we beat Cal and split there. And then we came back, and the Arizona weekend was a huge weekend for us to get through because they've been a little bit of a thorn in our side, both of those teams, the last few years. We just started talking about every game in the Pac-12 is going to have a tournament feel to it because it all matters, especially if you're vying for a conference championship and playing for tournament berths. So Pac-12 soccer has NCAA tournament feel to it, and there's a reason there's 9 teams in our conference that have gotten in, is because we all schedule pretty well in the non-conference. We get good results in the non-conference, and then if you can find a way to finish strong in this league, you're going to put yourself in contention. So we're happy about that. Worked out well for us this year.
Question for Taylor. You were actually on the roster last time the team made the tournament, although you didn't play. Is there any sort of experience or knowledge that you can share with the rest of the team?
I mean, to be honest with you, that feels like a really, really long time ago. I was a freshman and I redshirted that year, and I remember what it felt like to go down there and go as a team, and that was really, really cool. I wanted to do that before I obviously left the place, but I don't remember too much, to be honest with you, as far as like how the game went. Unfortunately, we lost in the first round, but it's not really how it's going to be this time, so I'm looking forward to kind of resetting history a little bit differently going into the playoffs this year.
And then for Summer, first time in the postseason for you, any sort of jitters about that, or just excited to get out and play?
I think I'm just excited to work for my team and defend our home turf, so yeah.
You mentioned earlier, Leslie, about the journey. First time I talked to you this season, before the season started, you said the goal was clear, was to make the tournament. And it's been, it was a little rocky in the beginning, but then in that Texas weekend, it's just changed completely. What do you think was the biggest difference maker?
Belief. I think this team has had to get over some big hurdles, particularly over the last 12 months. And they proved to us between November and May, before we ever added our freshmen, that they were committed to doing what we asked them to do and committed to one another. And then it comes down to results. And I would say, it could have been a huge turning point for us, those first 2 draws, because our team played very well against Portland and Seattle to start the year. And when we didn't get results, the coaching staff, I would say that Nikki, Amy, and I took a deep breath and said, ooh, I hope these 2 draws don't come back and bite us on the butt, because just on record alone. It's the other thing is when you get to conference, you have to be over 500 to qualify for the tournament, and 2 ties that you feel should be wins can hurt you. But they stuck to it. I think they listened to the fact that result or no result, look at how we're playing, look at how we're creating chances, look at how we're defending. Now you just have to put it all together over 90 minutes. And the Texas game was a gut check, because I feel as though, and Texas is a team that got into the tournament, but I feel on the day there was nothing that Texas really did to beat us. That was the one game this year, if we were to go back to it, we beat ourselves, we felt like. Carolina, up at half, ended up losing 3-2, but felt pretty good about it. But the Texas game and rebounding on the Sunday to Texas Christian in the heat of the day in Fort Worth, Texas at 1 p.m. and beating them on their home field 3-1, I think the players finally decided, wow, we're good. We're good enough. We're good enough to beat anybody that we play against. And it's not that the rest of the season didn't go without its little chicks here and there, but it was one of those things where I think that they finally decided that if we were to put our stamp on things and do things the Husky way in the attack and the Husky way defensively, and fill your role when your time comes, and not be about just your own playing time, but be about helping the team when your moment came, it showed. And we've had injuries again, and like any other team, but at the same time, we've just had people time and time again step up and fill those roles. And to be great, you have to have that, I think. And I think it's, for us, it's been fun to watch. And so hopefully now they believe truly that if we're in this tournament, we're not in it just to get, do as well as we can. We're in it to try to win, 100%.
Looking ahead to Seattle, you mentioned a little bit earlier, but you already have played them. How does that change your plan as a coach, knowing that this is a team that's already seen you and you've already seen them?
Yeah.
As opposed to a brand new team?
I haven't looked at Julie's team that recently, but we'll look at them again this week on film, and we'll go back and look at our game against them. But you can ask Summer and Taylor. For us, our preparation is what we control. How we play is what we control. We have seen it all. We've seen every system. We've seen athleticism. We've seen direct teams. We've seen possession-style teams. We've seen teams with 6, 7, and 8 great attacking players on the field at one time. We've seen teams that are 5'9" and over with no one under 5 foot on their team. So it doesn't, to us, it doesn't matter. We can't control what they bring. We will try to make adjustments where necessary, but I feel as though our team is ready to be the best us we can be, stepping out on the field. And so this is a completely different game than 19 games ago. And I'm sure their team's way different than they were then, and our team, I know, is different than we were then.